Aloha. I wanted to do a quick video on the information stream that is counter to intuition, basically, and the earliest forms of manifestation of that stream is in programs like Little Einsteins, and this example I'm using right now is this SciShow Kids Know Your Globe is a video I'm going to go to in a second, but this SciShow YouTube site has like 3 million subs. They even have an offshoot, and this is the same creator of VidCon and the Vlog Brothers. SciShow Space has 5.5 or 5.5, half a million subscribers, and it's like these are I use this as kind of like a a balance beam or a pivot point of where this stream of thought goes back and forth from. They got shows like Minute Earth, and with 1 million subscribers, It's Okay to Be Smart, like all these like individual 4 million view Crash Course. It's all about science and minute physics, and it just put together this really quick, smart sounding and feeling information. They give you this kooky looks and like, oh yeah, we're all knowingness. These are like the masters of the universe outside of the professors that people are more comfortable with getting their information from, outside of just basic professors. And the ways we get locked into this grid of comfort of this program, which is basically, it's a supremacy programming also at the heart of the nature. But and I'll go to explain it with the SciShow Kids in a second. But I went on I wanted to go through the Veritasium just to share that this is a Veritasium, an element of truth. He's got 3.3 million subscribers, and just to give an example of how they mix and match nature observation, nature, science fiction, and fiction, and give like the scientific perspectives, the way they approach these situations. And Facebook is what was part of putting these individuals out there as important or very smart. This is why social media was put out the way it was, in order to provide like a platform for the new age version of your information stream and stuff that's important, or people who are giving you important information. And they speak about everything that might trigger your curiosity, but never really getting to any. They leave it open, just like any of the Discovery Channel or National Geographic Channel or History Channel, all those biography channels. They get these shows, and then they talk about theories, and then they answer these half of a theory, and then have some fancy, funky little CGI in front of your face, videos or pictures, just to get you like thinking of what it could be, based upon what leading theorists or leading physicists or leading scientists or professors have thought of. And you're entertained. You get this show like, do aliens exist? Empty space is not empty. Like all these quantum computer, how does a quantum computer work? It makes you feel insignificant. It makes you feel small. And it makes this look bigger and more important when it's sold to you the way it's sold to you. And they're doing observations and experiments on things that you could do on your own a lot of the times, and it's just the way it's presented to you makes the situation, makes this whole and that's how they sell in, like what now for the Higgs boson. So they sell in these agendas slowly but surely, with all these hip versions of of scientific experiments and selling you programs as they go. Northern Lights from 100,000 feet up. They got that artificial curve in there, and these are just that's from planet Earth or life. All right, that's just from the BBC or the Discovery Channel. At why are astronauts weightless, and where does the sun get its energy? Like all these questions that you might be thinking about, and they got all the answers, and they just reference the big head professors from the university system. And like this is another one. Vsauce got 10 million subscribers, talking about who owns the moon and the moon terminator illusion, and even references flat earth on here. And I might as well go ahead and play this because this is an example of how they want to mix it in there.
In 2003, researchers did that Kansas is in fact.
It's just an example of how they get people thinking and believing in this information by mixing stuff in and selling half versions of what's really going on as far as the information flow. And I've never even seen this perspective, but he came at this talking about, is the earth actually flat, but also leaving in gravity as if gravity existed, and they even giving you like an experimental model of like what it would be.
The earth is round. Otherwise travelers would be falling off the edge all the time. Right? Wrong. If the earth was not a ball shape, but what
So they mix in like this is the way he's going at it is because he's coming at it from strictly a scientific perspective. He's going to end on that note. I'm not going to play this whole 10-minute video, but I wanted to actually explain how this first part of it, how it gets people thinking, oh yeah, like, because this video was put out there to maintain the theory of gravity as existing. And then he goes into what if gravity doesn't exist, but he eventually goes back into
a flat disc like this plate. Well, with the right density and thickness,
the point being is that people are left in like this empty space land of theory upon theory and images that represent the theories, and then you think you got what's going on because the professors have done all they can, and they're getting more information as they go. And basically all the science community, NASA, all this stuff puts your ideas out in the future. All those stories, all this, oh, we're gonna go to Mars, they keep saying all this stuff. Just like Back to the Future told you it was gonna have flying cars in 2015. The science community itself, the people in politics, they tell you all the promises, just like Hope. The Obama campaign and Hope, this is the same exact program, is to take you out of the now, take you out of your understanding of your existence right now in this space and what is just really going on right now, and to just fill your head with all these versions of reality that are based upon theories that these individuals have to put out there to hide the fact that they're just lying blatantly to your face. And the kids,
as you moved toward the edge, gravity on a disk Earth would slightly skew, pushing at a greater
so
and
he's
greater
talking
angle
about
back
like
toward the center.
the spin and gravity. So like I didn't even know that this video existed or people were coming at it from this perspective, but
although this is a flat disk, it would feel to a runner headed toward the edge like they were.
So this is just meant to confuse the shit out of people. Like that's the whole point, is to get people so caught up and dependent on these individuals to come out with your answers for you and not allow you to understand it. So they create this idea of a flat earth with with gravity still on it, instead of going through all the other questions and then creating these models to show you like what it is, and then you end up believing it because of the way he's telling you, the way he's speaking to you.
Build structures closer and closer to the edge so that people living in them always felt like down was at right angles to the floor, the way we feel it on our big round Earth. Now, as you approach the edge, things would get scary. Remember, this is
everything down even to the music.
Like a sheer drop-off. What's really cool is that
like this is like foil hat wearing music.
On a flat world, because of gravity, the scary risk would actually be falling away from the edge and rolling all the way back to the center.
It's ridiculous.
Once you stepped over the edge, instead of falling off into space, you'd be able to relax. It would be a nice, level place. This model, of course, neglects the fact
that what?
That such a planet shape would be impossible.
Alright. So you heard them. It said neglects the fact that it would be impossible. So they tell you like that's what the rest of this will just show you why it's impossible. He goes on into showing like other people who thought the Earth was flat, but basically just like you're putting on a tinfoil hat and then just making fun of it, introducing like particles into and light speed and what it would mean to live on a flat place in relation to light speed and all this other stuff, and just makes it all just like the music you were listening to that they were playing on this video. That's what they were selling the whole theory of about and as. And these websites, they bombard your perspective. And it used to be me. I used to love these videos when I was on Facebook and looking at all these experiments. It was all like really interesting to see all this stuff they would come up with. But now seeing it, it is designed to completely distract you from the simplicities of our existence and the realities of a creative source involvement in our purpose here. So this stuff is just to have you more and more vested into the science community, so you can sell or pay your taxes and sell your consciousness to the idea of the future and Mars, going to Mars and all that other stuff. All this stuff is to get you to think that you can trust these individuals because they're the all-knowing masters of your universe. They're going to talk about gravitational waves being discovered, and we're going to Europa. Just wait, we're going to Mars, we're going to Jupiter, we're going to Europa. Galactic cannibalism, colonizing Venus with balloons, gravitational waves, huge deal. Einstein, they got to build up all these egos, and it goes from this to all these other channels to science shows mixed in with talking about animals, people, science experiments, kids, and all this other stuff. And then I'll play this now to going down into the individual kids of like how they play this artificial ego, like these faceless individuals who build up their personalities to sell your kids these fake ass artificial ideas of their reality. And then these personalities come into kids and like, oh, you don't have to lie, you don't have to sell stuff to kids unless you're lying, unless you gotta like really, unless you're talking about some shit that's made up, because kids will pull out all the stops and let you know what's going on. And that's why I wanted to reference this video right now, is because if we come out from the perspective of a kid or the inner child, or just addressing this flat earth stuff, from realizing that they're lying to these kids right now. Every day they go to school, and I had an issue with it with Europe being a continent, and like asking questions like, what's up with Europe? Europe is not a, we even referenced the teacher and all the teachers reference Eurasia. I'm like, why is it not Eurasia? It's just because we said so. Basically, that's it. And all these other science channels tell you, whatever they're telling you. If they tell you what it is just because we say so, and if we don't have the answers, it's theory, and it'll be in the future, and we're the ones who's going to tell you what it is in the future. Yeah, any of the world's main continuous expanses of land. That's a definition of a continent. Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe. And they started there. So if we start unraveling, you'll see what's going on right now. See this bogusness and how they gotta sell this stuff with these faceless, like, mannequin personalities. And that's another issue. It gets these kids like, do you have one of these? Like, it confuses kids. Like, what's wrong with, like, if this lady came to Oakland and started talking to the kids like that, the kids would be like, what the fuck is wrong with this lady? You don't have to speak to kids. It makes kids would be smarter if you didn't dumb them down with these kinds of shows and personalities that make them feel like kids and feel like it's really, I don't even know. It just makes them. It's like 2 layers of ego. It's like a kid ego, because kids just interact with each other, and then when you have these fake people and these shows like Little Einstein that's selling dinosaurs and science and all these other jacked up conditioning programs, it's real important. Like, if the flat earth community were to come at revealing this information from talking about how jacked up it is, that there's these shows called Know Your Globe on science show kids, and even all the globes in the schools and all this stuff, then let these kids start to unravel this stuff.
A model of the whole Earth, small enough to fit right
if they're still in school.
Think of it as a map that's in the shape of a ball. By getting to know your globe,
It's just
you can get
fake.
to know all of the land masses and bodies of water that cover our planet.
So this really got me talking about 5 oceans.
That's where there's water. And
I'll get into that in a second.
That's land. As you can see, Earth is mostly covered in water.
Knowing it's only one ocean.
Here and there. In fact, there are 7 different land masses on the Earth. And these chunks of land are
Let's see what these chunks of land.
North America. It's one of the 7
Look at them rats in space. Yeah, like them NASA rats.
On this side of the globe,
They got that right.
this chunk here is Africa.
Chunk here is Africa, and they go this chunk here to make it like this chunk here. Like this chunk, that's fucking Africa. You can't call Africa a chunk. That's and they just use these words and these styles to make you believe that this is a continent. It's not a continent. It's a conditioned program.
Is Europe. And next
Is
to
Europe.
Asia.
And next to it is Asia. No, it's directly connected. Your very show is lying to kids from the definition of what a continent is. Like, you're straight up lying to the kids.
Australia, our smallest continent. And at the very bottom of the globe, and at the bottom of our planet, is the 7th continent, Antarctica. Most of our 7 continents are divided into smaller pieces
It's a
of land
gauntlet.
called countries. That's what all these different colors are within the bigger chunks of land. Like in North America, but Australia and Antarctica are continents.
So this is how they sell the definition of continent. Sorry.
Almost 200 countries on them.
200 countries on them. Like, that's how they're trying to convince you that Europe is worthy of being a continent, and she's going to equate it to land, but it doesn't make any sense. It's just a program for your kid's brain. She's going to say,
A lot of land.
that's a lot of land. Like, no, you can't lie to these kids. They're going to call you on your shit.
There's a lot of land on Earth. Just wait until you hear this.
Crazy
Half
eyes.
of our world is covered in water. Oh, hi, Webb, and hi, Bill. What are you guys up to?
Well, Jesse, we heard you were going to be talking about water, and who better to help you than a couple of ducks who, I don't know, live in it.
Good point.
And actually, more than 70% of the world is covered in water.
You're right. Isn't that
You're right.
Fresh water, like what you find in lakes and rivers, where we hang
And by far, most
Ridiculous.
of it's saltwater, like what fills the oceans. And our planet is covered in 5 main, very big oceans.
Exactly.
5
Can you name
oceans.
The 5 oceans?
Of course we can. First, there's the Pacific.
When I was in school,
Over
it
there
was
between
4
Asia and the
oceans.
Americas. It's the largest ocean in the world.
Now
It
it's
covers
5.
30% of the
And that's
planet.
just another
So
way
big, all 7
to
continents could fit over it, with room to spare.
get you to think that they
Whoa,
could
but that's
just,
not all. On
they
the
got
other
the
side of
power
planet,
to
it's
tell
the
you what your
Atlantic
world
Ocean,
is
the
about.
planet's second
They
largest
keep
ocean.
adding
The
these
next biggest
complexities,
ocean is the Indian Ocean.
these
Below
complexities
Asia
just to
and
get
in
you
between
to
Africa
believe that
and
they have the
Australia.
power to
You're
tell you
right.
who and what you
another
are.
major ocean is up here at the top of the world.
Not
But
to
there's
mention,
no land, just water. This is
no
the
land. She was meant to say that. There's no land, just water. And then like just get you, make sure that you know there's no land up there in the Arctic land. It's just water. It's just an ocean. She made sure to say that.
Arctic Ocean doesn't look much like the others in real life. That's because most of the time it's covered in ice. Brr. And there's just one more ocean we should mention.
I know, the Southern Ocean.
That's right.
This
The
shit
Southern
really got me because I was like, what? When did this happen? So I had to research, and apparently in the year 2000, they came out with the Southern Ocean, saying that it was an ocean. And the thing that I related to this is that they had to come out with, the internet came out in big in like 97, 98, and in the year 2000, or in that time frame, they knew in like 10 years people were going to start researching the flat earth and all this stuff and start questioning what was going on this planet. So in order to be ahead of the game, in order to slow people down, because if people think there's a Southern Ocean and it's surrounding Antarctica, that's like putting a bullseye on Antarctica and making Antarctica more Antarctic-y, like more like real as the body of land that is represented on a globe, so you don't question anything. So why would they lie? That's just creating another layer of why. Like, why would they lie about Antarctica, and why would they lie about Southern Ocean? So in a kid's mind, they're just like, oh, okay, well, Antarctica is Antarctica, and there's now a Southern Ocean. So you're like doubly not questioning anything when you have these complexities of something like a Southern Ocean, knowing there's only one ocean to begin with, but now there's 5 of them. It was 4, now it's 5.
Ocean is the name for the waters that surround all of Antarctica at the southern end of the Earth.
I'm just gonna come out and say that that's too cold for me.
Me too. We're not penguins. Now we know our globe, or at least the basics of it. The fact is, there are
That shit
thousands
ridiculous.
of cities and lakes and rivers on
So-
the globe that we didn't talk about. And all of this different stuff is what makes our Earth so different and interesting as you travel from one place to the next.
There's so many layers,
You
and
know
stop
what
looking at me with
part of the
crazy
globe you are?
eyes.
Are you in Australia or Europe or here in North America like us? Let us know.
There's
And
so
if you have
many
questions
different
for any of us
About our amazing world's weather, or
conditions
animals,
that are
plants,
in
or
this, and
anything
just
else.
like in this
leave a
one
comment below
video.
or send us an email at kids@thescishow.com.
And you can email them. Look, you can email them because they're so nice. And there's a rocket. There's you in NASA. You can be an astronaut. Space super secret. Is that what this is? Super something spaceship. Yeah. So all these shows that are out there, that are going after your kids and your child's mind, they're changing these ways that you interact with your kids. Like, you have to lie to your kids now. You got to tell your kids that Europe is a continent, knowing that the definition is saying otherwise. So it's creating all this instability, and inherently you just give all your trust and your everything away to these professors and the system itself, and it inherently separates. You have to download the separation of being outside of a creator, or outside of any kind of purpose, when you are so vested in this science reality because it's hip, it's cool, and it's being sold to your kids. So that was pretty much it. I just want to reference that video and all these other science shows and just kind of shift the gears a little bit to see another way or share another way we can approach unraveling the globe model and how this stuff is being installed. So, thanks for joining me. Till next time, peace, love, harmony.